I really don't care. But the bottom line is you got to identify your problems. Every community has a different problems. Kendall has burglaries, okay? They have auto theft. I mean, you're not alone. Liberty City and Overtown is not alone. The majority of the Cubans that did all the drug dealing, they didn't live in Liberty City and Overtown.
Yep.
They lived in Miami and Westchester and Coral Gables and Coco Plum and all that bunch of other stuff. And they were drug dealers. They were dealing in drugs and they were importing narcotics. So did I criticize them? Yes. Did I agree? No, I don't agree with what they did. But to sit there and say, how dare you say that all the Cubans, I'm not saying that all the Cubans, and I'm not saying all the blacks. I'm trying to defend the Cubans and the blacks. Not every black that lives in the projects is a piece of garbage. Not every Cuban that, that lives in a certain area, and let's say in Coco Plum, is a piece of garbage. But did drug dealers live there? Yes, they did. Do bad people live in Liberty City? Yes, but it's a minority, and that minority was giving them a bad name, and they're creating problems. I have a good friend of mine that turned out he was the chief of police. He was a friend of mine. He happened to be my lieutenant, Matt Boyd, who was the chief of police for Miami Gardens for a while.
Murder Gardens, yeah.
Murder Gardens, yes. And Matt went there. Matt is black, but Matt is a person that will sit there and tell you, this is the problem that we have, and this is the way we're going to address it. Matt wouldn't sit there and go, well, I don't, if you say that, you're kind of racist, and if I bring it up, I'm not going to be looked at the same way. You have a problem, address it, okay? So what happens is he created a crime suppression team. And one of the questions that came up at one time, because we had sat down and discussed it, was someone within that group who happened to be a politician with a little bit of power, because they think they have a lot of power, they have they're little power. And they asked, let me ask you this, why is it that you created a crime suppression team and most are white Hispanics? Well, it's really simple. And he knew how to answer. Well, I opened up to everyone, and these are the boys and girls that applied to come to this crime suppression team. If I had all the blacks and no Hispanic and no white applying for that position, you would have all black crime suppression team, which I don't know. I have no idea what that's supposed to do. Because white or black, if I put in for a crime suppression team and I know it's in a black area, I certainly don't have a problem with blacks. Because the people that they call racist and they have problems with it, they're not going to apply for that position. So those kids or those guys, those new guys or girls that apply for that position, they wanted to be there. They wanted to make a difference. They wanted that job. So immediately it was like, oh, you're not supposed to say that. What do you mean I'm not supposed to say that? That's exactly what happened. I opened it up to everybody, and that's exactly who applied. Do you know why? Because most of them that lived in Miami Gardens, police officers, did not want to work, again, where they live or where they have family members. Because I don't know if it's in fear for retaliation or if they're going to be called names.
Yeah.
And that happens every single day in all Miami-Dade County, all communities. It doesn't just happen. We're not just picking on Liberty City and Overtown, okay? I have a gentleman that used to call the police every month, and would have videotapes of the people selling drugs in the corner. He would stand out there and go, hey, keep looking over here because I'm videotaping you and I'm sending it to the police today. He worked for the county. I believe he worked for the county. Okay. He would come home. He had a beautiful home. He would do all his gardens in the afternoon when he came home. He had a beautiful house. And he said, I'll be damned if I let them run my neighborhood. That's a positive person. That's a person that wants to make a difference. But those are the people we do not hear from. We don't hear from them. They don't make the news. We hear about everything else.
That brings us to a great topic.
Let's get that topic
as soon as we come back.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is I'll Call You Back, True Blue Unedited, with Izzy Martinez and Cachita Lopez here on CLR Radio 154.
See you then.
Vamos a tocar el punto de los heroic things.
Estamos volando.
Seré.
Yeah, yeah. It's getting easier. ¿Qué pasó?
Luisito, ¿qué voy a hacer?
¿Qué topic again?
Heroic things, the good deeds that police officers do, and
Yeah,
that people,
that's
that
on
general
the sa-
people in
yeah,
the
on the same
community do.
thing.
All right, so we're gonna go here to heroic things.
Y yo te voy a preguntar a ti, okay, so tell me some things that you've heard negative about police and stuff like that, and then I'm going to tell you stuff that we do that, que esto lo otro. That happens every day.
Caballero, ¿estamos bien para empezar?
Okay.
Oh, you have to go?
¿Estás tocando Pablito? ¿Eh?
¿Qué chingados es?
Esta mujer es de madre, para que tú lo sepas. No, lo que está pasando aquí nadie se
¡Páfata!
So let's do that. And I got a story. You're going to freak out on this.
Okay.
I got Kiwani's Officer of the Year and everything.
Coño.
And a dinner and everything else. Coño, pero esto... ¡Ay! 3, 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is I'll Call You Back, True Blue, Unedited with
Izzy Martinez.
and Cachita Lopez here, courtesy of CLR Radio 154 on your Sirius XM dial.
So talk to me.
So we were talking about people making a difference in their community. A lot of times we have a ton of unsung heroes in our community, which include your normal civilians,
Absolutely.
your police officers, you have fire rescue. Also, we have a lot of good people.
And believe it or not, I always kind of bash a little bit the politicians. But there are politicians that do stuff
There are politicians
that
that
do
do
not
things.
advertise. Now, there's some that love the camera and the attention, and look what I did, look what I did.
And that that's a different point also to bring up. I personally feel that if you're doing a good deed, it should be out of the kindness of your heart
Sure. Yeah.
and not necessarily to want to get some sort of notoriety from this or to get some publicity. There's one police officer, if I'm not mistaken, he's in Louisiana. He's the funniest guy. He has, I don't know how many millions of followers. He's a white police officer that polices a predominantly black area. And his interaction with the kids in the neighborhood is fantastic. He introduces people on his social media because someone was complaining that the items that they sent for a child wasn't on social media. And he said, well, if your intention was to get on my social media,
Absolutely.
don't waste your time sending anything
No.
because that's not what it's about.
Nope.
If you trust that I am who I am and I'm doing what I'm doing, that's what it is. I'm 100% transparent, and I felt so much respect for him. I've had the privilege to do a charity event for a very long time, and I've had many a discussion, even with a former partner of mine, that he was very upset. He